Hello, Internet. It's time to read the Bible. We're slowly catching up. Here's the second of three, hopefully. We're doing March 25th. We will begin the Old Testament reading, Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 1 through 49. We'll do an old man voice this time. Specifically, I'm trying for a character called Deckard Cain from a game series called Diablo. I've never played Diablo, but I played Heroes of the Storm, and he's in that. He has a funny voice, so we're going to try for it. Let me see if I can do the getting dialed in here. Stay a while and listen. All right. And now, O Israel, listen carefully to these laws I teach you, and obey them if you want to live and enter into and possess the land given you by the Lord God of your ancestors. Do not add others' laws or subtract from these. Just obey them, for they are from the Lord your God. You have seen what the Lord did to you at Baal Peor, where he destroyed many people for worshipping idols. But all of you who were faithful to the Lord your God are still alive today. These are the laws for you to obey when you arrive in the land where you will live. They are from the Lord our God. He has given them to me to pass on to you. If you obey them, they will give you a reputation for wisdom and intelligence. When the surrounding nations hear these laws, they will exclaim, "What other nation is as wise and prudent as Israel? Or what other nation, great or small, has God among them, as the Lord our God is here among us whenever we call upon him? And what nation, no matter how great, has laws as fair as these I am giving you today? But watch out! Be very careful never to forget what you have seen God doing for you. May his miracles have a deep and permanent effect upon your lives. Tell your children and your grandchildren about the glorious miracles he did. Tell them especially about the day you stood before the Lord at Mount Horeb. And he told me, "Summon the people before me, and I will instruct them, so that they will learn always to reverence me, and so that they can teach my laws to their children." You stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire. Flame shot far into the sky, surrounded by black clouds and deep darkness. And the Lord spoke to you from the fire. You heard his words, but didn't see him. He proclaimed the laws you must obey, the 10 Commandments, and wrote them on 2 stone tablets. Yes, it was at that time that the Lord commanded me to issue the laws you must obey when you arrive in the Promised Land. But beware! You didn't see the form of God that day, as he spoke to you from the fire at Mount Horeb. So do not defile yourselves by trying to make any statue of God. I used the wrong word there. It's to make a statue. Same sentiment, though. You don't make statues of God. It's bad. No. No. Let's see. Where was I? Don't make a statue of God. An idol in any form, whether a man, a woman, an animal, a bird, a small animal that runs along the ground, or a fish. And do not look up into the sky to worship the sun, moon, or stars. The Lord may permit other nations to get away with this, but not you. The Lord has rescued you from the prison Egypt to be his special people with own inheritance. His own inheritance, excuse me. This is what you are today. But he was angry with me because of you. He vowed that I could not go over the Jordan River into the good land he has given you as your inheritance. I must die here on this side of the river. Beware lest you break the contract the Lord your God has made with you. You will break it if you make any idols, for the Lord your God has utterly forbidden this. He is a devouring fire, a jealous God. In the future, when your children and grandchildren are born and you have been in the land for a long time, and you have defiled yourselves by making idols, and the Lord your God is very angry because of your sin, heaven and earth are witnesses that you shall be quickly destroyed from the land. Soon now you will cross the Jordan River and conquer that land. But your days there will be brief. You will then be utterly destroyed. For the Lord will scatter you among the nations, and you will be but few in number. There, far away, you will worship idols made from wood and stone, idols that neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. But you will also begin to search again for your God, for Jehovah your God. And you shall find him when you search for him with all your hearts and souls. When those bitter days have come upon you in the later times, you will finally return to the Lord your God and listen to what he tells you. For the Lord your God is merciful. He will not abandon you, nor destroy you, nor forget the promises he has made to your ancestors. In all history, going back to the time when God created man upon the earth, search from one end of the heavens to the other to see if you can find anything like this. An entire nation heard the voice of God speaking to it from fire as you did, and lived. Where else will you ever find another example of God's removing a nation from its slavery by sending terrible plagues, mighty miracles, war, and terror? Yet that is what the Lord your God did. For you in Egypt, I'm sorry I lost my place for a moment, right before your very eyes, he did these things so you would realize that Jehovah is God, and that there is no one else like him. He let you hear his voice, instructing you from heaven, and he let you see his great pillar of fire upon the earth. You even heard his words from the center of the fire. It was because he loved your ancestors and chose to bless their descendants that he personally brought you out from Egypt with a great display of power. He drove away other nations greater by far than you, and gave you their land as an inheritance, as it is today. This is your wonderful thought for the day. Jehovah is God both in heaven and down here upon the earth, and there is no God other than him. You must obey these laws that I will tell you today, so that all will be well with you and your children, and so that you will live forever in the land the Lord your God is giving you. Then Moses instructed the people of Israel to set apart 3 cities east of the Jordan River, where anyone who accidentally killed someone could flee for safety. These cities were Bezer on the plateau in the wilderness for the tribe of Reuben, Ramoth in Gilead for the tribe of Gad, and Golan in Bashan for the tribe of Manasseh. Listed below are the laws Moses issued to the people of Israel when they left Egypt, and as they were camped east of the Jordan River near the city of Beth Peor. This was the land formerly occupied by the Amorites under King Sihon, whose capital was Heshbon. He and his people were destroyed by Moses and the Israelis. Israel conquered his land and that of King Og of Bashan. They were the 2 Amorite kings east of the Jordan. Israel also conquered all the area from Aroer at the edge of Arnon River Valley to Mount Sirion, or Mount Hermon as it's sometimes called, and all the Arabah east of the Jordan River over to the Dead Sea below the slopes of Mount Pisgah. All right, now we will move on to Luke. Specifically, Luke chapter 6, verse 39 to chapter 7, verse 10. Here are some of the story illustrations Jesus used in his sermons. What good is it for one blind man to lead another? He will fall into a ditch and pull the other down with him. How can a student know more than his teacher? But if he works hard, he may learn as much. And why quibble about the speck in someone else's eye, his little fault, when a board is in your own? How can you think of saying to him, Brother, let me help you get rid of that speck in your eye, when you can't see past the board in yours? Hypocrite, first get rid of the board, and then perhaps you can see well enough to deal with his speck. See, this is what I was talking about last episode. Like, even Jesus in this same teaching example is like, there is judgment. Like, you had a board, take it out, then tell your brother about the speck and help him get out. It is like judgment used to help, not judgment to condemn. But it is still judgment. And I know a lot of people, especially in the world and in the media, are like, the Bible says don't judge anybody. Well, yes, it does. It says it quite a lot. You just have to read the context and not cherry pick things, So anyway, let's continue with the reading. A tree from good stock doesn't produce scrub fruit, nor do trees from poor stock produce choice fruit. A tree is identified by the kind of fruit it produces. Figs never grow on thorns, or grapes on bramble bushes. A good man produces good deeds from a good heart, and an evil man produces evil deeds from his hidden wickedness. Whatever is in the heart overflows into speech. So why do you call me Lord, when you won't obey me? But all those who come and listen and obey me are like a man who builds a house on a strong foundation, laid upon the underlying rock. And he was a carpenter, so he would know about building things. When the floodwaters rise and break against the house, it stands firm, for it is strongly built. But those who listen and don't obey are like a man who builds a house without a foundation. When the floods sweep down against that house, it crumbles into a heap of ruin. When Jesus had finished his sermon, he went back into the city of Capernaum. Just at that time, the highly prized slave of a Roman army captain was sick and near death. When the captain heard about Jesus, he sent some respected Jewish elders to ask him to come and heal his slave. They began pleading earnestly with Jesus to come with them and help the man. They told him what a wonderful person the captain was. If anyone deserves your help, it is he, they said, for he loves the Jews and even paid personally to build us a synagogue. Jesus went with them, but just before arriving at the house, the captain sent some friends to say, Sir, don't inconvenience yourself by coming to my home, for I am not worthy of any such an honor, or even to come and meet you. Just speak a word from where you are, and my servant boy will be healed. I know because I am under the authority of my superior officers, and I have authority over my men. I don't need to say go. Oh, excuse me. I only need to say go, and they go, or come, and they come. And to my slave, do this or that, and he does it. So just say, be healed, and my servant will be well again. Jesus was amazed. Turning to the crowd, he said, Never among all the Jews in Israel have I met a man with faith like this. And when the captain's friends returned to his house, they found the slave completely healed. I want to take a moment just to emphasize one thing about this verse. I mean, everyone always acknowledges the Roman's faith and his understanding of authority. But I know a lot of people are like, he had a slave. Doesn't that make him bad? And I will again assert, no, it doesn't. It shows here that he cared for the slave. That was the whole point. He went wanted Jesus to heal his slave. So I will again assert that under the right conditions, slavery as a concept, not as how it is often executed, but as a concept, is not evil and does not disqualify a document or a book or an opinion from being wrong inherently. As many a teacher has asserted, I know I had a teacher in community college that tried to say that the United States Constitution was evil and backwards because it had slavery mentioned in it and had laws about it. He was the U.S. history teacher, oddly enough. So, and he didn't. I won't get into him, other than I will say I do not approve of his teaching method. Um, but obviously, it is a system that is very easily exploited and very easily given into corruption and classism and a lot of terrible things. But at its core, as a system, it is not inherently evil and disqualifying of morality, in my opinion, at very least. That is my opinion. I am not a great philosopher or pastor or anything qualified. That is just my musings. Because slavery appears a lot in the Bible, and I don't like people who dismiss it purely because slavery is a part of the word. I'm just saying, it seems like you can be a good man and a slave owner or a slave. Both of those things. None of that is mutually exclusive. I'm sorry I've ranted. It's something I do. You've probably realized by now, if you've watched this many of my videos, I tend to get off topic sometimes. Anyway, that was all for Luke. Let us move on to Psalms, chapter 68, verse 1 through 18. Arise, O God, and scatter all your enemies, chase them away. Drive them off like smoke before the wind, melt them like wax in a fire. So let the wicked perish at the presence of God. But may the godly man exult, may he rejoice and be merry. Sing praises to the Lord. Raise your voice in song to him who rides upon the clouds. Jehovah is his name. Oh, rejoice in his presence. He is a father to the fatherless. He gives justice to the widows, for he is holy. He gives families to the lonely and releases prisoners from jail, singing with joy. But for rebels there is famine and distress. O God, when you led your people through the wilderness, the earth trembled and the heavens shook. Mount Sinai quailed before you, God of Israel. You sent abundant rain upon your land, O God, to refresh it in its weariness. There your people live, for you gave them this home when they were destitute. The Lord speaks, the enemy flees. The women at home cry out the happy news. The armies that came to destroy us have fled. Now all the women of Israel are dividing the booty. See them sparkle with jewels of silver and gold, covered all over as wings cover doves. God scattered their enemies like snowflakes melting in the forests of Zalmon. O mighty mountains of Bashan, O splendid mighty peaked ranges, well may you look with envy at Mount Zion, the mount where God has chosen to live forever. Surrounded by unnumbered chariots, the Lord moves on from Mount Sinai and comes to his holy temple high upon Mount Zion. He ascends the heights, leading many captives in his train. He receives gifts for men, even those who once were rebels. God will live among us here. Finally, for today, we have Proverbs chapter 11, verse 28. Trust in your money and down you go. Trust in God and flourish as a tree. That is all for this reading. I thank you for listening, and as always, God bless.